give me the program for next meeting.
Good afternoon. I want to welcome the members of the public that are present here today, and also to everybody that's watching us through our social media. Welcome to today's meeting. Today being September the 18th, 2024, and the time being 12:01. We're going to call this meeting to order, and it's going to be a regular meeting of the City Commission of Rio Grande City. And at this time, I would like to invite the Commissioner Olivares to guide us in the invocation.
Yes, sir. Dear Lord, thank you for allowing us the opportunity to gather here today. We ask for a special blessing on all our employees, all our citizens, especially those that may be going through hard times, tribulations, trials, illnesses. We ask for a special blessing upon them. We ask for a special blessing upon this commission, that we approach all issues with a truly open mind so that we can make decisions that are in the best interest of our beautiful city. We ask these things in thy name. Amen.
And at this time, I would like to invite everybody in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now to our Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Ms. Solis, do you mind calling roll to this meeting?
Sure. Mayor Falcon,
Present.
Commissioner Ariel Barrera,
Present.
Commissioner Ben De Leon,
Present.
Commissioner Rogelio Olivares,
Here.
Commissioner Odolio Barrera.
Present.
We do have quorums.
Being that we do have quorum for today's meeting, we're going to proceed forward with the meeting. Before we proceed, ma'am, do we have any sign up for the public forum?
We do. We have Ms. Reina Guerra, who signed up for public forum.
Ms. Guerra, welcome. Thank you for being here today.
It is good afternoon, right?
It is.
Good afternoon, Honorable Commission, Mayor, and the rest of the council. My name is Reina Guerra. I don't know if some of you know me. Most of you probably do. I'm a proud citizen of Rio Grande City, and I also happen to work for the County of Star, proudly. Yesterday when I went online, and I love it that, social media can get us to the agendas and how easy it is for us to, look through what's going on within our community. And I looked at a certain item on this agenda, and I asked Angela this morning if I could, come and speak. And this is simply my opinion, and just to address, not a concern, but my opinion, okay? Like I said, Honorable Commission, I come before you simply to address the character of a well-known public servant of our community and city. That is Mr. Gilbert Milan. I understand he's our interim city manager. And no one asked me to come here. I came on my own free will when I saw that item on the agenda, okay? Mr. Milan has worked hand in hand with our county, has also worked hand in hand with many projects that we've had, and he has always and has been willing to assist. I couldn't elaborate more on all the help that Mr. Milan has given us, and we are so appreciative of that. Let me just go to the next page. Like I said, I wasn't really prepared. I kind of scribbled something. He has also given us so many ideas to the county, that is. And I couldn't elaborate more that he has assisted in our planning and permitting department. Anytime we would call, he's always there for us. And with that said, I encourage we keep Mr. Milan. Like I said, that's my my opinion, and I just wanted to express that to the commission. He is, like I said, our interim city manager. He has the experience. He is highly qualified, and therefore, I know that he will, if given that opportunity, he will work with the citizens of Rio Grande City. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate you giving me the time to speak.
Thank you so much for being here today, ma'am. Thank you. We do appreciate it. Now we move to item 1D, departmental reports. Do we have any reports, ma'am?
We do. We do have the police department submitted some information. It's on page 7 of your packet.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Mayor, members of the Commission. I just wanted to invite everybody for our National Night Out. That will be on October the 1st at the Basilio Park. It's at 6 p.m. and we're here to invite the community and you all to that event. We have all law enforcement together at that event, and we have run our lights and giving something back to the community. So we're here to invite everyone to that event. Another thing I wanted to, that was a little bit more important than some of the stuff that we've discussed in the past is, Mayor, we talked about this on the 9th. And, there was a threat that came in to one of our schools, right?
That is correct.
So kind of wanted to touch on that because I think it's important. And I think that, people need to be aware of these threats and what's going on with them. This has been a problem not only here, it's been a problem in the community, the state, and the nation. As per your memo on the 10th, I think it was the 10th or the day after, we're not going to tolerate that kind of behavior. It does cause a lot of alarm. It does cause a lot of problems. We were talking about 9 o'clock in the evening. That went through to the following date about 8, 9 o'clock and continued. So, I want to tell the parents out there that monitor your social media from your kids and their messaging. Look at what they're doing, their behaviors. It does create a public
And
panic.
I know this is an important issue, Chief, but do you mind explaining to the public what is it specifically, what incident you're talking about? I think that
I'm talking about threats to the schools. That affects us all. We have over 10 campuses in the city itself, the county-wide. We have private schools, and these threats to schools are becoming more common. It can change lives. It causes so many issues. Kids can ruin their lives by getting charged with a felony or with a misdemeanor, and it follows them. It doesn't go away, and it affects their school. And I'm talking about a general situation because it's becoming more prevalent. The man hours that are put into this are ridiculous as we move forward. We've been working together with the local, state, and federal partners on this, and just trying to get the community aware of what's going on, because I know that they see it, we see it. This has nothing to do with schools. It has nothing to do with anything. It's everything to do with the community and keeping people safe. And I know that people like to share stuff. Every time they share it, it causes a big issue, because what needs to be done in that sense is report it right away. Report it to your parents, report it to the teachers, report it to law enforcement. They know what to do with that information and actually act upon it. But I thought it was something that I should bring up due to the fact that the area is growing, and it is something that impacts everybody in this room and in the community. So if y'all have any questions on that, want to have a conversation?
There's a zero tolerance policy on behalf of law enforcement in regards to any kind of threat, even if it's done in a joking manner, am I correct?
That is correct. And again, Commissioner, this is very, very, there's no joking matter when it comes to,
Yes, exactly.
to messages like this, because it does impact a lot of people, and it's extremely alarming. And there's so much that's happened throughout the world and the country and the state that these matters are going to take it very, very seriously. And, that references your message to the community. So
Right.
I just wanted to touch upon that.
And I wanted to commemorate the department because they were excellent in responding to this situation. Obviously, there were some threats to some of the local schools, and the department, in collaboration with some other agencies and also county agencies, they were very effective and efficient in bringing a resolution to this matter. So for that, I want to say thank you to our department, because I think that you all did a phenomenal job. And I think that the threat was taken care of, and I think that some individuals were taken into custody, some juveniles. But it was fast and efficient, but nevertheless, it took a lot of man-hours and resources to come to the resolution of this item. And I think this is where we invite the public, parents specifically, to monitor their kids, to make sure that this kind of conduct is not tolerated, that they don't encourage this kind of behavior, because it creates some big problems for us, obviously for our community, for our school districts, for our kids. But thank you so much for everything that you all did.
Yes, sir, and I do want to thank the locals, other agencies, state and federal agencies. A lot of this information comes through them, and everybody's been cooperating with each other very well with in regards to these incidents. We are talking to other agencies. We will be meeting in McAllen in the next few days, next week regarding that, and see how it's going to kind of move forward. I see some of the laws changing in the future regarding this, because it has become very problematic.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We also have the planning department.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners.
Good afternoon, sir.
I'm running some numbers for the month of August. The department did an inspections of 113 inspections. With the health department, we did 8. We issued 145 building permits, which will include anywhere from a garage sale to commercial, with a valuation of $1,100,073 and $250,000. We also had a total of 4 pen reviews. At this time, I would like to introduce 2 of our newest code enforcement officers, which will be Eliza Becerra and Luis Olvidares.
Welcome.
Also, for you guys to recognize, we also hired a new building inspector, which is Marco de Leon. Thank you. Do you have any questions or?
Not on my behalf.
If I
Thank you,
may
sir.
add, this is the first time ever in the history of Rio Grande City we have a female code enforcement officer,
Oh, wow.
certified.
Congratulations, ma'am.
Congratulations. Yes, sir. And I know you all had some wonderful mentors, so thank you.
You have somebody from the fire department.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioner. I'd like to bring up the fact that next week, in 2 weeks, October 6th, to the 12th, we're going to be having a fire prevention week at the schools, school district. Every year we go by every year and conduct weeks on a daily basis at the school. This year's theme will be smoke, making it work for you, smoke alarms, making it work for you. So we have that going on in the month of October, coming up in the month of October. Also, I'd like to bring up the fact that I know I haven't been speaking up too much as far as the calls that the fire department has been having throughout the year. And I'd just like to mention that as of this year, we've been a combination of 476 calls throughout the year to the month of August. And that varies from different house fires to vehicle accidents to medical calls. So just to let you know that we've been having, that's to come up with you as far as what we've had throughout the year. Also, last year in October, we started collecting fees for inspections and reviews, fire burn permits, and so far we've collected over $5,700 in this period of October to now, or past August. So that is something that we've been, I don't know if the commissioners know about, but we do have those fees being collected as well.
Yes, sir.
That's it. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Munoz.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
For being here today.
We have Ms. Hernandez from EDC.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commission.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
In your packet is an update on some of the projects and happenings going around our beautiful city. We've been keeping in contact with the owner that will be building the Home 2 by Hilton. He's finalizing some of his financing and is getting ready to build the 83-room Home 2 hotel, and this will be in the St. Ives development. There's also some work being done at the Star Plaza with the relocation of the Hibbett Sports and the demolition work at the location that will be occupied by Ross. Our public safety building, as we'll hear a little bit more about it throughout the meeting, is nearing substantial completion, and we're working on the official ribbon cutting. I know some of the commission will be out on a TML training, so we'll be scheduling it for after that. I received notice that the elevator has now been inspected, so I know that was something that we were waiting for so that we could set the date for that. Also, with the Los Velas road improvement, this is right next to Los Pinos. We're working on a road expansion in that area because of this development in that area. We needed some utility poles to be moved, and that's also nearing completion so that we can take that project out for bid. Our Villanueva subdivision, that's a DHR Medical Plaza. We continue to meet with them monthly to get some updates on that. They're working on finalizing some of the water lines and are requesting replacement of one of those lines in that area. That may be coming forward to the commission very soon. Also, the IHOP is already being built, so if you've passed around that area, we're getting excited to see the final rendition of the IHOP and hoping that that opens before the end of
I
the
could
year.
almost smell the pancakes.
Yeah. Yes, almost. Also, the McDonald's on the west side, they've also submitted their building plans over to our planning department, so we're waiting to issue that permit, and so they can start the build, and we have some eateries over there on that side of town, which is much needed and anticipated. Also working with the developer for the Hill Country Drive extension, that will also be discussed a little later in this meeting so that we can solicit a grant writer, so we can apply for some grant monies for that project. International Drive, working closely with TxDOT and our engineers, Rio Delta, to get some updated costs for that project so we can finalize the paperwork and begin the process of having that road constructed. Also, if you've gotten a chance to drive through the back, our Amazon pod is back there and completed and generating some revenues for the city as we're charging a monthly fee for having that there. And we're also currently working on 2 annexation proposals, and there's some information on that. And we stay active in the community, attending trainings, working with our partners, Workforce and STC. Our Chamber of Commerce has had a whole bunch of events that we join in on. And I want to take this time to thank the library and Miss Kathy Rubio with our museum for putting on the Grito en el Kiosco event. I think it was a lot of fun. The Lucha Libre was a big hit. And I know some of you all attended that event with us, so thank you very much for being there. And I know that we had a lot of kids out there wearing their masks, wearing their Mexican attire, so it was a really great community event. And so I just want to take that time to commend these departments for putting in a lot of work, our public works, our parks. It's really a team effort. And we have a bunch of events coming for the fall. I know we're in the process of hiring a PR person very soon, but we have our trunk or treat happening October 24th. And we'll start with the fall festivities with our Christmas tree lighting, the Christmas parade, Feast of Sharing. So we're working on a calendar with the Chamber of Commerce so that we can advertise all those events.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lieutenant. Anybody else? Ms. Foltz, the library?
Hello, Mayor and Commission. So in the library, we had over 1,600 visitors in the library in the month of August. We also, I realized that I had not been reporting this to you, but we also collect fine fees and for copies and faxes and such. And so far, This year, up to August, we've collected over $4,700. We just received official notification that Rio Grande City Public Library has met all accreditation minimum criteria as fully qualified member of the Texas Library System. This means we qualify for E-rate, we qualify for interlibrary loans and grants. And one of the grants that we just received was sorry, because it's a long name. Texas Library Association has selected the 2024 Texas Book Festival Collections Enhancement Grant recipient in the amount of $2,500. And so we've already ordered those books. And then our calendar, like everybody else's, it's more like a living calendar, because in addition to what we have daily, and we have ESL, we have craft class, we have teen programs, we have programs for the kids, we have things that come up, like Mr. Eguia and I received a notification from UTRGV. They have a mobile literacy unit, and they would like to have Literacy Day at the park. We are looking into October 5th. They have a bookmobile. In the bookmobile, they're ready to give out over 300 books. They have puppets, they have crafts, and the library would be assisting with that, along with Mr. Eguia and the parks. So we'll be working with them to do this on October the 5th. That's all I have. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Mr. Flores?
Good afternoon, Mayor Falcone and Commissioner. I do a quick update on the sewer project for Monroe and Lopez Street. I've been meeting with Mr. Gonzalez Rio Delta weekly. Right now, what they're doing currently is they're updating the engineering plans. So that's where the process is. I just followed up with him last week. So, and we're going to continue also on the billing side. We're going to continue working with making our courtesy calls and making sure we're getting our revenue in and coming in and all that. Follow up with our connections and reconnections. I also want to just kind of share something we're also initiating to get to the public out. This is going to go out, and I'm going to pass it around. You guys can check it out. It's just to be proactive on the sewer, how we can educate. We're going to have this in Spanish and English as well. So we can, when people come and give it, we're going to pass them out and through the drive-through and everything. And it's really just to educate as much as more a community of how to really prevent sewer trouble. What do we need not to do and stuff. So just it's going to go out hopefully next month. We're currently working on this. It's just a rough draft. And you do have my departmental report on everything that came in and all that, so if you have any questions.
Sir, I know that, like, the things that say those wipes are flushable, they say that they're flushable, but they really are not. Yeah, yeah.
On the wipes, I know, you read the label, but honestly, Commissioner, to be honest about that, they're not flushable, guys. We're misguided, but it's part of it. I know that, and a lot of it is, I'm going to share something. My mother-in-law that lives in New Braunfels, but a year ago, she had an issue with sewer. And I guess what caused the issue when they would have to go under the concrete and drain everything out. It was very cost effective, but it's the wipes. Came back to the flushing of the wipes. So just, that's something that they're not flushable. So just community out there, they're not. Please, again, they're not. If you're able to help us out with that, that's one of our major issues that we have with the sewer trouble. It's the wipes. It is honestly the wipes. I think we can say in every household we use or we have a pack of wipes, but they're not flushable, sir. They're not. Yeah.
But they put it on the box.
The selling point, sir.
Yeah,
They get you like that. Any questions?
No questions from me?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Sir.
I don't know if anybody else. Hector?
Good afternoon, Mayor,
afternoon, sir.
Commission. Just a little update on the lights. Eisenhower, they're about to finish, so expect lighting on Eisenhower. So,
Great.
and on your report, on the report, I got two more quotes that will be issuing for next month, I believe, for approval.
Okay.
And, if you have any questions for me?
Did you ever get a quote, sir, for the striping near Roque Guerra? I know a citizen that lives in that area says that it's real vague when they pick up kids, that there's no definition.
And on trophy.
Yes, yeah, we got the quotes. We're gonna have it for next year's budget.
Is it doable, sir, do you think?
Yes. So, if you have any questions for me, or
Thank you, Mr. Barrera.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
But that should be for the departments. I personally like to thank all the staff members for their participation in the event, like Ms. Hernandez said, Ms. Rubio, Public Works, Public Utilities, some members of the Plan Department also, Fire and Police Department, they all did a wonderful job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, everybody. Thank you. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for everybody that participated in this last event. I know that it was very successful, Ms. Rubio. We really enjoyed that event, so thank you. I did mention it there that it takes a lot of people to come together to be able to put something like that together, and I think the public really appreciated and enjoyed the event. Thank you. Moving forward, we're moving to item number 2, the consent agenda. Item A, approval of minutes from previous meetings. A, City Commission special meeting held on Wednesday, August 28th of 2024.
Mayor, I would like to move to approve the minutes as presented.
Anybody second the motion?
Second the motion.
All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving to item number 3, ordinances. A, second reading and approval of ordinance number 2024-05, an ordinance of Rio Grande City, Texas, levying ad valorem taxes for maintenance and operations of the city of Rio Grande City, Texas for the 2024-2025 fiscal year in conformity with the charter provisions and ordinances of the city and the property tax code of the state of Texas, providing for apportioning each levy and specific purposes, providing when taxes shall become due and when same shall become delinquent if not paid, providing for a repealer, providing for publication, and ordaining the other provisions related to the subject matter hereof.
Good afternoon, Mayor Commissioners. This is the second reading for the approval of the maintenance and operations tax rate, which is 0.372960. That is part of the tax rate, which in total is 0.521090. It was discussed in the previous meeting, and I don't know if anybody's got any more questions on it.
No questions from me. Anybody?
No questions?
Do we need a motion to?
Yes.
Yes, we do need a record vote as well.
I move that we approve item 3A as presented.
Does anybody second?
I second.
Motion has been second. All of those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
We need a record vote, Mayor.
I'm sorry?
Record vote.
A record vote, okay. Ms.
Mayor Falcon?
Solis?
Yes, Mayor Falcon,
Aye.
Commissioner Del Barrera,
Aye, in favor.
Commissioner Bentelia,
Aye.
Commissioner Rogelio Olivares,
In favor. Aye.
and Commissioner Eduardo Paredes.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving to item number 3B, the second reading and approval of ordinance number 2024-06, an ordinance of Rio Grande City, Texas, levying ad valorem taxes for debt service of the municipal government of the city of Rio Grande City, Texas for the 2024-2025 fiscal year.
Mayor Commissioners, again, this is the second reading on the INS rate, which is the rate that was calculated for the city to be able to get the amount that's needed to pay the debt for this upcoming year. That rate is 0.148130. Again, that's part of the total tax rate of 0.521090.
Anybody have any questions? Does anybody wish to make a motion in this matter?
So moved, Mayor. I move
Anybody-
that we approve item 3B.
Anybody second the motion?
A second.
Motion has been seconded. Do we need a record vote on this one as well? Ms. Solis?
Mayor Falcon,
Aye.
Commissioner Del Barrera,
Aye.
Commissioner Bentelia,
Aye.
Commissioner Rogelio Olivares,
Aye.
and Commissioner Eduardo Barrera.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving to item 3C, the second reading and approval of ordinance number 2024-07, an ordinance of the City of Rio Grande City, Texas, adopting 2024-2025 City of Rio Grande City municipal budget for October 1st, 2024 to September 30th, 2025.
Mayor Commissioners, again, this is the second reading on the budget proposal that was presented on the previous meeting. There was some minor changes done to the previous one presented. We added additional positions. We added additional revenues, the overall, we still ended up being in the red. Negative $745,715, which is $560,000 are for projects, one-time projects. $185,715 would be for operations. Again, if you all recall, there's an increase in health insurance races. Our revenues, we're very conservative on proposing the revenues. This year alone, we're seeing higher revenues than we budgeted for, so we should be okay. We're hoping for the same thing in the upcoming year.
Anybody wish to make a motion on this matter?
So moved.
Does anybody second the motion? I'll second. Any discussion from anybody? All of those in favor say aye. Sorry. Do we need a record vote on this one as well, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Solis?
Yes, Mayor Falcon,
Aye.
Commissioner Del Barrera,
Aye.
Commissioner Bentaleon,
Aye.
Commissioner Rogelio Olivares,
Aye.
and Commissioner Eduardo Barrera.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Moving to item 3D. The second reading and approval of ordinance number 2024-08, an ordinance amending section 16-210 of chapter 16, utilities of the Code of Municipal Ordinances of the City of Rio Grande City.
Yes, this, Mayor and Commission, this is the second reading for for updating our tapping charges. Our second reading, it is, again, 19-year-old, we're updating an ordinance that's been there for 19 years, so we're upgrading also and increasing some fees, and of course, the cost of infrastructure has gone up. So it's just really kind of also find ways to make a little bit more revenue on reconnection fees, and also charging for the black box, which is the meter box outside, and it was a fee that we didn't have before. So, you guys have any questions over it?
Does anybody wish to make a motion in this matter?
I move to approve 3D as presented.
Okay. Anybody second the motion?
I'll second it.
Motion has been second. Any discussion from anybody? Do we need a record vote of this one as well?
No.
All of those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. We move to item 3E, the first reading of ordinance number 2024-09, amending the 2023-2024 fiscal budget by providing transfer from the city fund balance to the city's general fund.
Mayor Commissioners, in your package, you're going to see a budget amendment for this fiscal year. I moved some monies around from department to department, but eventually we're going to need to transfer from the fund balance $24,693. And this budget amendment, you're going to see there's going to be an increase of $838,880. That was the payment done to Cantus Construction. We already knew about it, but we didn't include it in the last year's budget. It was a discrepancy left out. And here, we're just adding it so that in the audit, it doesn't come out, knowing that it's already in the budget.
Okay. Does anybody wish to make a motion on this matter?
I move that we approve, is it item 3E?
Yes, sir.
3E as presented.
Anybody second the motion?
I second the motion.
Does anybody have any questions or discussion regarding this matter? All of those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Moving to item number 4, resolutions. A, discussion, consideration, and approval of a resolution authorizing publication of notice of intention to issue certificates of obligation pertaining to the Texas Water Development Board.
Mayor, I recommend that we move item 5B and C to be considered before this item after consideration and discussion with bond counsel and potential financial advisors.
Okay. So it's your recommendation that at this time we take item 5B and C?
Yes.
Okay. Having such recommendation, we're going to follow and we're going to move forward and leave pending item number 4A and move forward to item 5B and C. Discussion, consideration, and possible action to terminate the contract with the current financial advisor. 5C, discussion, consideration, and possible action to engage Estrada Hinojosa for financial advisory services.
Mayor Mayor Commissioners, in this packet, the council is proposing to terminate the contract with Robert Tijerina and engage with Estrada Hinojosa for future projects, financial advisor.
Does Mr. Tejerina have any current projects that he has been?
Yes, we're currently working on one project that we're supposed to close on in December.
And what percentage of the work is complete for that project?
As far as percentage, I'm not exactly sure, but most of the work has already been done. I think as far as financial numbers, this has been a process that we've been working on for the last 2 years. We're finally at the end of the tunnel, so we're seeing a proposed closing date for December 12th.
Okay.
Mr. Leonel.
Before we move on to further discussion, does anybody have a motion, first of all, on 5B, which is the termination of our current financial advisor?
I've moved motion to terminate the contract with the current financial advisor as presented on the agenda on 5B.
Does anybody second the motion?
I second the motion.
Okay. Now the matter is ripe for discussion.
Okay,
Mr. Leonel, I have a question for you. Is the city gonna get affected financially with this termination of the legal services from this financial advisor?
No, the city won't.
In any way, is the city gonna get affected?
Not that I know of, no. The only thing we're doing right now is changing financial advisors. They're going to take over the process, continue as it is. There shouldn't be any delays on the closing date. The city won't see additional. The only thing that if we were to continue the process with Robert Tijerina, his fees would come out of the loan. And in this case, if we're going to change, the fees are going to have to be paid up front from the public utilities department.
Would that be from the fund balance?
From the fund balances.
So
Okay.
the other way, it's already built into the loan? It's already
It would be built into the
bank?
loan, so essentially, it's the same thing. It's one thing, you finance it over 20 years, pay the interest on it, pay everything on it, and the second way, it's paid up front, which we've done before.
And if we're paying it up front, how much is that?
We don't know the exact amount, but it's on the budget amount is 58,000, right? 58,000? 58,000.
And do we recuperate those 58,000 once it funds, or?
No,
No, we
we're
do
paying it
not.
up. We're paying it up front right now.
It's only if we keep Tijerina, then we recoup.
If we keep Tijerina, their fee is going to be paid out of the loan.
Yeah.
Okay, so we pay it over X amount of years.
Right.
Okay. And the other way around is we have to pay it up front?
Yes.
At the time of closing, the Texas Water Development Board will pay off origination fees. They will pay the bond counsel and the bond financial advisor. And since we did a request for proposals for these two services, and those were the two firms that were selected to have a contract, that's why they will fund them. By not going forward with Mr. Tijerina and going forward now with Steinhosa, they will not fund that portion. They'll fund the bond counsel, but not the financial advisor.
Will it be totally out of line to keep Mr. Tejerina until this project is complete? And of course, assuming that the new company comes in, is that something that could be considered? I mean, if we're gonna change companies, I'm all for that, but could we keep Tijerina until this project is completed? Is that possible, Ms. Martin?
If council decides to terminate, we could have them take over. It wouldn't affect the
I
project.
think what he's saying is that, can we?
Since he did all the work for this project, can we let him finish out this project to let it see to fruition and then, of course, we would have a new financial advisor.
To be a contingency.
Yes.
That would be up to council.
If I may address the...
Yes, please.
Good afternoon, Council. This is Bobby Villarreal with Estrada Hinojosa Financial Advisors. I have Dr. Miguel de los Santos and Dr. Angel Magallanes with me, as well as my partners here. We have an office here in Edinburgh. We're local. As far as the question of the fees, we'll keep the fee the same. However, the the question of how does it get paid? So when you leave it in the loan, you're essentially paying, what was it, like 59 or so? So you'll be paying that over the next 20 years. So I think y'all done before where you just do it cash on hand, and so that way you're not paying interest on that particular part for the next 20 years or so. And one thing to note as well, I think we can talk to Water Development Board, because as things occur, those 60,000 can actually go, we can talk to Water Development Board and tell them to move it into contingency, so that if there's any cost overruns with the other projects you're doing, that can be moved into there. That way, if there's any cost overruns, you can have those funds there available to that. So that was one thing to note. And then as far as how much work has been done, our experience with Water Development Board is that primarily the engineer drives the train from the early going of along with staff, is the one that drives the train to this point. And then this point forward, there's a lot of financial documents, due diligence that we have to do with staff to make sure that you're just not doing a transaction just because they said yes. We got to make sure with Leo and his staff that the water rates, the revenues that you're receiving, are sufficient to make the payments. So what you're doing today is a combination tax and revenue pledge. So you're pledging the tax rate. The INS tax rate is going to be about 14 pennies or so. But you got to make sure that your revenues are sufficient. And I know that on the top line, you're making a good net available revenue to address the debt. However, I do know there's stresses on the utility that I think you're doing like a transfer of about $790,000 to assist the general fund each year. And I know that's something that Water Development Board wants to verify those costs and make sure. So that's something that may be a stress. So there's a lot of little things that we have to, we meet with staff between now and then, but many documents that have to be done from this point forward. So I would say that I guess the theory that most of the work's been done, it's not all been done. There's a lot to be done at this point as well.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
Are you familiar with the work that has been done? Have you studied it, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
But most of the major work has been done. Is that a fair statement?
On the engineering side, yes, but on the financial side, there's still much to be done.
Thank you, sir.
One of the things that I would like to consult with Mr. Cantu is that particular payment and how that's going to affect our budget. I would like to
The way it was before,
to
it was
consider
going to be already built into the loan, right, or into the grant?
Yes. The PUD has a good savings. They have over 2 million in the bank account. Their fund balance is over 20 million, but that's accounting for all the assets. So, I mean, as far as a hit to the PUD department, it wouldn't be a big hit. But again, like Ms. Marty said, it's up to the commission to decide whether you want to move forward with the new ones or remain with Robert Tijerina for this project.
Are those 50-some thousand, 60,000 that are still pending? So are those generating interest if we waiting to pay them, to pay him?
If you put them in the loan, you're going to be, over 20 years, those 60,000 will turn into 80, whatever.
Isn't that pretty much standard procedure? Isn't that pretty much standard
I mean, some
procedure?
cities choose to, I mean, y'all done it before on your own where you.
I did a little research, and from what I was told, was most cities do it that way. That most cities incorporate the finance.
Some do, some don't.
Preferably, we want to do it that way, but I know on the last one that we did, we also paid it up front. The last one that we have for the wastewater treatment plant, that was a $7 million grant loan.
You
We
paid
it
upfront
as well.
to which company?
To the Texas Water Development Board as well.
Okay.
It was the same one.
And the other thing too, like I mentioned, that can go towards a contingency that you have. I think you have like 100 and some thousand in contingency right now. So, and things go up.
And what about Tijerina's contractor agreement that he has with the city?
That would be
Is there any
illegal.
way that he can come back and say some kind of unjust enrichment, some benefit that was comfort to us?
He's
and
going to
then-
be paid, so there wouldn't really be
Who's
damages.
going to pay him?
Out of the project, as they explained, either we pay him now or pay him with interest over 20 years.
Who?
The city.
Tijerina, the city. The city's paying him regardless of what he's worked.
So we're in a situation where we're gonna pay Mr. Tejerina
No,
and we're gonna pay these guys also?
No, I don't think that's
Not
the
in,
case.
no, not in this
I
case,
understood
yeah.
that.
No, I don't think that's accurate, Ms. Martin.
No, I think if they're talking about one fee, and if Tijerina takes the fee, I think it's gonna be financed, and if Hinojosa takes it, we're gonna have to pay him upfront.
Yes.
But it's just a one fee. So now my concern is, if they have done any kind of work, can they come back and say, hey, we
Do they have a
provided a
contract?
service,
Do
we
they have a
expect it to be compensated, we're not gonna be compensated, so.
I believe, Mayor, since they do have a contract, they might come in with an invoice for services up to this point.
Right.
Um,
And we don't know how much that is as of right now?
Is that,
My
would it
recommendation,
be, can they add it, can they still charge for this, or is it part of this loan that's?
Normally, when we've been through this.
My apologies, I misunderstood.
Yeah, we don't know if there's gonna be an invoice submitted or
I-
not for work
I
done, but
really love the idea of having a new financial advisor. And I know that your company has a great reputation, has a lot of staff, and can provide a wonderful service. But at the same time, I want to make sure that we don't get penalized double, or that we end up with a lawsuit in our hands.
And that we're fair to the company that did most of the work, or that did a lot of the work.
Exactly.
So-
So that company will get paid regardless. That company will get paid regardless. That's not being part of being fair. Just so you know.
No, it won't.
No, well, the thing is that there's going to be a one fee.
Yeah, but I mean, regardless.
Right now, there's one fee, and what I'm afraid is that we're going to have two fees for the same
I
service.
think we should discuss it in executive.
Yeah, so at this time, I think that we should somebody should move to table this item so that we can address the remaining questions and lingering questions that we have.
Is that okay?
Yes.
I move that we discuss item, 5B in executive session.
5B.
Move it to discuss it in
Yeah,
executive.
yes, move it to
items
discuss
5B and C.
5B and C. Was that what you wanted, Mayor?
No, table.
Or to table?
I wanted to table the matter so that we can get those questions addressed, so that we can have legal review.
Let me amend my motion. I move that we table item 5B and 5C.
We can also discuss it in executive and come back with, if you want to table it at that point, you can table it at that point. If you
Yeah,
don't
I'd
have
rather
those.
do that. I'd rather discuss it in executive session. I move
Mayor-
motion to discuss it in executive session, points 5A, 5B and C.
B and C. Yes.
Okay. Anybody
We-
seconds the motion?
I'll second that.
Motion
If I
passed in
may
second.
add,
All those in
Mayor?
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
If I may add,
Motion
Mayor,
carries.
we have a tight schedule to close on December the 12th. I think you have a schedule, Mr. Villarreal, and we do have our bond counsel, Mr. Dan Martinez here. They are very time sensitive because they do have to go basically on the stock to sell the bonds. And so if y'all, when you move it to executive, hopefully y'all can have a decision.
Okay. And who's got the contract for,
The contracts, we should
Mr.
be
Tijerina?
with the city secretary.
okay, all
I
right,
have it, Mayor. also.
okay, all right.
He didn't come today? He didn't show up?
no. Well,
I don't know if you got
I
noticed,
told them
but.
about the agenda item, so.
Okay. What's your recommendation, Ms. Garcia, regarding 4A? Remember the item?
Oh, we can go back to 4A.
To 4A?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay, all right. Going back to Resolution 4A, discussion, consideration, and possible approval of a resolution authorizing publication of notice of intention to issue certificates of obligation pertaining to the Texas Water Development Board.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is all related to the same project, Texas Water Development Board, Texas, an EDAP project. We do have Mr. Dan Martinez. He is who prepared the resolution to start the process.
Mayor, Commissioners, for the record, Dan Martinez with Winstep PC, your bond counsel. Privileged to be here this afternoon. As Ms. Baez mentioned, we have that resolution authorizing notice of intent related to the water development project we're talking about. So for some of you folks that are not familiar with this process, when we issue this type of obligation, a certificate of obligation, it requires notice to the public. We have to publish in the paper 4 to 6 days before we actually authorize the issuance of this debt. And so that process begins with your authorization if you choose to move forward. Today, passing this resolution, it gives us direction to work with the newspaper and publish that notice. The reason why we do that is because we're pledging a tax. And normally when you pledge a tax for debt, you have to have a bond election. So like say, for example, school districts, they have a bond election to authorize the tax to pay their bonds. we're not having an election here, but state law requires us to give this notice in lieu of an election. However, the citizens are on notice once we pass this, once we publish this notice, and they have the ability to petition for an election. And so that's the process, and again, it's upon your will, but as that is kind of the first step, if you will, as we move along. As Ms. Bice mentioned, we have a schedule based on the timeline we were given from the Water Development Board. Our last day to kind of stay on track is to publish next Wednesday, the 25th. And so that's why we're here today. So typically we have that discussion regarding the plan of finance before we authorize the notice of intent, but we'll do whatever you guys request.
And Ms. Bea says it's your recommendation that we publish this resolution?
Yes, sir. At this point, it starts the process whether you move forward with either one of the financial advisors. But the notice, this is separate apart.
Okay.
Still part of the project.
Okay. Very well.
I move that we approve item 4A as presented.
Does anybody second?
I second.
Motion has been second. Anybody have any discussions, questions? All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. We move to item number 5A. Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the approval of expenditures and contracts valued less than 50,000 but more than 5,000 that comply with or are exempt from section 252.0215 of the local government code.
We have several departments, Ms. Beas, Eric, Sarah, anybody present?
We have, excuse me, Mayor and Commissioners, we have the pay applications for Gerlach Builders, contractors for the public safety building, and an additional invoice with Meldon Hunt for the wastewater treatment plant.
Just a second, ma'am. Trying to go to the item.
I don't know what page number that would be.
Gerlach is requesting 129,000, ma'am? That's the
There's
one that
2 months there.
I'm sorry?
2 months. There,
Okay. And that payment had already been accounted for, correct?
it's part of their, their contract, I'm sorry.
It was
And it's in the
budgeted
budget.
and
Yes, sir.
This is nothing new, no change orders, nothing.
No, sir.
There's another one for 234.
Oh, yes, that's right. On page 156, there's another one for 234,757. Same question, ma'am. This was also part of the budget?
Yes. If you'll notice, they're like a month behind. I believe one of them is July and the other one is August.
Okay. And this is not taking us out of the budget, correct?
Not at all.
Okay. There's a request from Public Utilities Department as well?
Mr. Flores?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mayor and Commission, I believe I have a couple items on there. One is for inventory for our, this is one of the last, I know we're moving forward with the pilot program. I think we had discussed that before. So we do keep inventory just to make sure by the time we do take off with the pilot program, let's see how that goes within 4 to 5 months. Those 19, I believe it's a little bit over 19,000 is for inventory to get us through the next at least 6 months of, if we have any issues with meters. And I believe the other one is for fleet enterprise. That is for our vehicles. That's our monthly payment on our lease, on our vehicle, our fleet program that we have a lease.
And I think that's all you have from your department, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Ms. Hernandez?
Mayor, Commission, in your packet is a request for payment for engineers, same engineering who worked on the drainage project for our public safety subdivision. They're at 64% of the pre-construction paperwork needed to complete this project.
Is this
So the original contract, we were with a contract with them was for 34,000. Pending is 17,000. This payment is 5,139, which will be deducted from the total of 17,000 that is due.
Okay. And then I think that we have some requests for payments from Melvin and Hunt. Ms. Bass, can you update us on this one?
The Milden Hunt invoice is towards the sewer plant. We've already had the plans reviewed by the Texas Water Development Board. We're just waiting for their letter so we can start advertising for bids
For whose letters?
from the state.
Ah,
From an official letter saying we've reviewed it, you're good to go, here's the green light to start advertising. But we're ready just to put it on the paper.
Let me see.
Do we have an estimated date for that, Ms. Beas? Because when we went to the meeting in Edinburgh, that's exactly the same point where we are at right now, no?
The review from the state, it took a little over a month. We can ask them to hurry. There's emails where we kept saying, what's the status? Are you anywhere close? But we had hoped to do the bid around September or late September, and it seems that we're going to be hitting the mark.
Thank you.
Okay. Did they provide whether or not they're going to be able to submit the bids, ma'am? Melvin and Hunt?
If they were going to submit the bid?
Yes.
They had mentioned at the last meeting that the schedule was to go out for bids on the sewer plant September, late September, early October. But we do have an email from Mr. Rohan out of Texas Water Development Board saying that the review is complete and they'll be sending a letter. And that letter's basically telling us that we're good to go and advertise.
Okay. All right. I think that covers all of the expenses. Does anybody have a motion regarding this matter?
I move motion to approve section 5A as presented in the agenda.
Is anybody second?
I second the motion.
Motion has been second. Any discussion regarding this matter? Questions? All of those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Moving forward to item 5D, discussion and possible action for the scoring and authorization to execute an agreement for administration/professional services for the 2025-2026 Texas Community Development Block Grant application with the Texas Department of Agriculture.
Mayor and Commissioners, I know we gave each one of you a packet to score. I'm not sure if it's, if all of you submitted it. I know we had a tabulation, but I don't know if it's complete.
I have them with me, ma'am.
Has everyone submitted their scores?
Yes, ma'am.
Can maybe possibly, we can skip this item and so we can tabulate them and get
Yes,
them grades together?
I suggest that we leave this item for the very end after executive session so that we can address it once everything is tabulated.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. You mind coming over? Give this-
You good?
Yeah. Thank you.
Ms. Beas?
And I think that also applies to D and E, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to leave those for after executive session. Moving forward to item 5F. Discussion and possible action for approval of allowance expenditure authorization number 9 for the Public Safety Building Project 2020-06.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is an allowance expenditure. It does not add to the contract. The dispatch area at the Public Safety Building, after all the consoles were put in, all the electrical wire was done, we had an additional request from 911 out of Laredo to add some electrical circuits at the dispatch area. We did ask Gerlach Builders to provide us a quote. They are here represented. If there's any questions on their quote, and it's for $15,213. Like I say, comes out of the same allowance that's already included in the contract.
This still within the allowances that we have?
Yes, we still have a balance. I know that Crystal is also here with the Warren Group. She's got the balance on the allowance.
Okay. And it's, the total is 15,213 with 93 cents?
That's correct, sir.
Okay.
What does it mean, it says Laredo 911 will be reimbursing up to $11,000 of this cost?
So Laredo gets state money out of the 911 service charges that are on our phones. In talking to them, they said that because it's related to 911, they can reimburse up to $11,000. So it will actually reimburse the allowance and credit it by those $11,000.
Will somebody be monitoring this reimbursement?
Yes, we've actually already got reimbursed for the 911 generator, $25,000. This is another $11,000. We are also working with Gerlach Builders to provide the square footage cost associated with the dispatch area so we can get reimbursed up to $50,000.
So if we get reimbursed the $11,000, the actual cost is only the balance, which is what, $4,213?
Yes, that would actually come out of the allowance.
Okay. And how long does it usually take for the reimbursement?
It took us about a month to get reimbursed.
Oh. If you could just make a notation to remind us for our next meeting to check the status on that?
I will, sir.
Thank you so much. If you could give that message to our secretary so that she can make a notation and we can address it during the next meeting. Okay.
Do we need to approve that one?
Yes. So at this time, does anybody have a motion?
So moved, Mayor. I move that we approve item 5F as presented.
Anybody second the motion?
I second.
Motion has been second. Any questions or concerns, anybody? All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Moving to item 6A. Discussion and possible action to authorize administration to solicit requests for qualifications for agents of record services for all employer-paid and employee-paid benefits.
Mayor Commissioners, like, the item says is for the city, you can start a process of getting an agent of record for the city employee benefits. Ms. Vaz, you can elaborate on this.
What kind of benefits are we talking about? Medical benefits or?
Yes.
An agent of record would actually do the request for proposal packages, review the proposals and recommend to council on insurance and cafeteria plans, supplemental insurance. The last time that we did an RFP for insurance, we changed from TML to Blue Cross. We did not have an agent of record. Myself and Ms. Valerie Brown did the package, and we had about, I'll say, 8 or 9 companies that responded. It is a lengthy process because there's a lot of reports from our current carrier that need to be provided with claims and also with the census of the employees. A lot of information that goes into acquiring these proposals.
And this item is just to seek out qualifications, right? This is not for approval of a new agent.
No, this is authorizing staff to start the package and to, start preparing it and putting it out on the paper. The agent of record does have a fee, and that goes to the
This wouldn't affect the insurance that we have right now, or that we're gonna, that's gonna start in October?
No.
It will not affect it at all?
No. If this process is complete before October 1st of next year, and the council wishes to move forward.
For next year, for the next fiscal year?
Yeah, for the next year, or you all have also the option of terminating Blue Cross and bringing in another one. Blue Cross has mentioned that they do have a credit of $45,000 that they gave the city that would need to be reimbursed, and the bundling discount would also be reversed.
So, okay. So just so that I can be clear, because I don't know, this item was placed on the agenda just so that we can perhaps pursue this avenue for
Next year, correct.
Next year. Okay, very good.
I move to approve 6A as presented.
Anybody second the motion?
I'll second.
Motion has been seconded. Any questions, concerns? All of those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 6B, discussion and possible action to approve consideration of a plan of finance for a Texas Water Development Board financing.
Mayor, this one goes hand in hand with the other two items that we're discussing in executive. I would recommend that we leave this to after we meet in executive.
Okay, so we're going to be meeting, we're going to,
Missed the groundbreaking or the grand opening.
huh? Oh, they're going to move it to two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's why I'm trying to hurry up. Okay. Moving to item 6C, discussion and possible action to approve notice of election calling the November 5th, 2024 election, Proposition A. Proposition A, shall section 2.01C of the city charter be amended to provide for term limits of 2 4-year terms for service as mayor, for service as commissioner, or for combined service as both mayor and commissioner. No individual may serve more than 8 years, provided, however, a person who has a partial term of 2 years or less may serve no more than 10 years. Does anybody have a motion regarding this matter?
Move motion to approve item 6C as presented on the agenda.
Anybody second the motion?
I second the motion.
Motion has been seconded. Now it's open for consideration and discussion. Any questions, discussion?
Ms. Garcia, I have a question on this one. Let's say that a commissioner wants to run again after being in the commission for 8 years. How long does that commissioner have to wait, or he cannot no longer run again?
The language, he can no longer run again.
Good.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns?
Does this include the administration? Have we considered that? Who's going to administer the elections? Is there a cost built into? I know that we're just approving this, but
For this one, it's gonna be through the county, this one, and then the next one, well, we still have time
Okay.
to choose for a proper and American company.
do we
to
have do we have an invoice from the county as to how much it's going to cost?
Yes. We received an invoice for $10,000 to run this election.
Okay.
What did we spend on the last election? The city ran that one, right?
How much?
We had budgeted $30,000 for that one.
30,000?
And yeah, we had to rent the machines, buy the new, everything, so.
And the county has already put out the notices, the required notices per the election code, so we're on track to.
So huge savings.
Okay. Anybody has any other questions, concerns? Do we need a record vote on this one this
No.
morning? No? All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Moving to item 6D, discussion and possible action for authorization to issue a request for proposal for a grant application and administrative/professional services for the Economic Development Administration application.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is authorization to staff to start advertising. This will provide preliminary engineering, like Ms. Sarah Hernandez mentioned a while ago, on the Hill Country Extension Project that the
Oh, yes.
EDC has. So in order to submit the application, we do need some engineering costs associated on the road, some drawings, and we basically have to submit it up to about 30% of the design. So this would help us move forward. At this point, I believe the cost will be provided for this engineering cost by the developer.
By the developer? And how much does that cost? About 30,000?
At this point, for the application process, it could be just about, because it's not designed 100%, so.
So the developer is covering the preliminary engineering costs that are needed so that we can submit this application. This item in the agenda is so that we can get professional services in the form of a grant writer to help us write the grant.
Okay. All right.
Ms. Hernandez,
We'll review those costs when we get those bids in and bring it back to the commission for.
Ms. Hernandez, quick question. This grant is for how much?
We don't know, we have to apply and see how much they'll.
Is there an estimate, 300,000,
I
half
know
a
that they've
million?
received this grant in the past, and it
1.5.
covered a little bit over.
How much?
We received in the past 1.5. I have reached out to Mr. Congressman Cuellar's office to let us know under the programs of Public Works and Economic Adjustment Assistance, so to see what type of funding is available right now. The government is going into their new budget starting October 1st, so we want to make sure we put in this application fast.
Ms. Bass, do you remember, well, I know you said 1.5 million we received the previous time, but do you remember how much money the city or the EDC put into that grant?
For Ratbridge, right?
Yeah, it was substantial. It was quite substantial what the study.
Was it worth it to receive a 1.5 million?
We've got all those stores and that tax base there. I
Okay.
believe it was about, in total with the grant, about 6 million.
It was some work that was done to the creek in addition to the paving of the Ratbridge.
But also, there's a possibility that you apply, you invest, and you don't get it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what's your recommendation on this one?
We're just going for the grant writer at this point when we have a more solid agreement with the developer to move forward as to how much money is actually available. His portion will be to match the grant with the property that he'll be donating for the road. This will connect Hill Country Extension all the way to 755 next to the public safety building.
Okay.
So initially, we had looked at only a road, and now he's asking for utilities also. So that's brought the project up from, almost $1 million to $3 million.
I've spoken to the developer.
Who's the
and
developer?
Informed him, this is with
Troy
the
Bathman.
It's Troy Bathman with the St. Anne's Development. And I did inform him that the city's position is that we will put in the grant writer and whatever the grant is, and any overage in construction or the sewer needs to come from him.
Right. Okay, good
So all
job.
that you're asking us to approve today is grant writer?
So that we can put out
Yes,
an
yes,
advertisement so we
okay.
can get grant writer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody have a motion?
I have a motion to approve item 60D as presented on the agenda.
Motion has been second. Any further discussion from anybody? All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 6E, discussion and possible action for the approval of the ratification of change order number 2 for the Texas Wilson Furniture for the stair carry labor for the public safety building project 2020.06.
So Wilson Furniture is the company that got the bid for the furniture for the public safety building. They had a tight schedule to deliver and set up all the furniture. Everything's already set up. believe this week they'll finish with 2 tables. But at the time that they were delivering everything, the elevator was not inspected, so not operating. And part of their original quote was to use the elevator. So they paid extra, the guys, to carry it up the stairs. And we were in a short time frame, and it's about 1,000 some more. We're asking for approval on this change order for this extra cost to move the furniture using the stairs instead of the elevator.
How much was the total expense, ma'am?
Total on the contract for Wilson, I believe, was about almost 200,000.
240. Oh, yeah, I see.
And that was to furnish everything, every room in the,
And is this coming
Public
out of
safety
the same project budget that we had?
Yes.
Or this is coming out?
ARPA money.
It is?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, does anybody would like to make a motion on this matter?
I move to approve 6E as presented.
I'll second.
Motion has been second. Any other questions? All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving to 6F, discussion and possible action for the approval of change order number 4, time extension for contractor for the public safety building project 2020.06.
This is on Gerlach Builders. This is only time, no money. And this is because of the allowance work that needs to be done at the dispatchers. And also because they resodded the landscaping.
When
So
is it the date proposed?
October the 8th.
Okay, all right.
They are here, if you have any questions directly with them.
Does anybody wish to make a motion to grant the extension for October 8th?
So moved.
Anybody second? Second. All of those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. We move to 6G, discussion and possible action for the acceptance of certificate of substantial completion from the Warren Group Architects for the Public Safety Building Project.
This is one of the first steps to getting the project closed down. Substantial completion has been made based on the recommendation of our architect, Warren Group. We have Ms. Crystal here, so she can explain exactly what accepting the substantial completion means to the city. Basically, they're already turning over the building. We can start getting it insured. Crystal, you want to go ahead?
Do we have access to the building after the substantial completion?
We have access to it right now.
Yes, so now, good afternoon,
afternoon.
Mayor and Commissioners. Yes, we had released a walkthrough and reviewed the entire building to see if it's already substantially completed, and it is. So we went ahead and issued the letter of substantial completion along with the punch list of items that the general contractor has 30 days in completing since the day that they received the substantial completion. Currently, I know that they're here and they have informed me that they have already went ahead and did all of the revisions as per the punch list.
They have?
They have.
Oh, okay.
You already completed the follow-up punch list? Yes, so they have. Right now, do you want to give them a status on the elevator? Would you like to give a status on the elevator?
Good afternoon, Board. Schindler came in yesterday, did a walkthrough. The gentleman they sent in added 17 more items to complete, and those are getting completed today. As soon as it's done, and I get confirmation that it's done, we'll call back Schindler and tell them to put us up again for the final inspection with the State Fire Marshal. And I'll get a better date on when they're going to be down here. I did ask them that we were pressed with time, and we needed to get it done before the end of this month. He said, I'll get him back there.
And Mr. Milan, do you know if somebody from the city has gone over to inspect the?
Yes, actually, we have a new inspector, and Tony also, they're constantly gone, they've done several inspections, I've done it myself too.
Okay. And is it their recommendation that we accept the certificate? Or do we still need to go and check out the building and look out for revisions?
Yes. Yeah.
The items that are lacking are related just to the elevator. They're not structural, they're not electrical, they're not plumbing. I know that Mr. Marcos, building inspector, went, he also reviewed the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. All of those have also been done.
Okay.
Tony has gone regularly.
Just wanted to make sure that it was the recommendation of our planning department and everybody else that we accept the certificate. And if it is, at this time, I would like to see if there's a motion to approve this item from the commission.
I move that we approve item 6G as presented.
Does anybody second the motion?
Second.
Any further discussion? All of those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you so much. Moving to item 6H, discussion and possible action for the approval of the modification number 4, technical assistance agreement number TAA 21-008 for the rehabilitation and extension project.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is a modification number 4 to the North American Development Bank Technical Assistance Agreement. They provided funding 100% grant for the environmental and the feasibility study for the wastewater treatment plant and also for the collection system all the way to El Quixote. Because we're basically at the end, and this modification ends on the 30th of September. We need to extend it so we can be able to get reimbursed to the last cent of invoice that's provided by Meldon Hunt. They recently sent a payment for $58,000, and so we still have some additional funds to request reimbursement.
Okay. All right. Anybody have a motion to approve this item?
I move that we approve item 6H as presented.
Anybody second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion has been second. Questions, concerns, or discussion? Having no discussion, all of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving forward to item 7A, discussion and possible action to appoint a member to the Main Street Advisory Board.
Mayor and Commission, we have some openings in our Main Street Board based on our last Main Street Advisory Board meeting. At that point, we had one opening, and the board made a recommendation to nominate Ms. Ana Garza. Her bio is there. She has been a wonderful volunteer for several nonprofit organizations. She has a business in our downtown area, and she's seeking a position in our Main Street Advisory Board. Since our Main Street meeting, we have now 2 additional openings. I will be taking back to the Main Street Board for recommendations, but as a commission, it's outlined in our bylaws that the appointment of these members be done by our city council.
Mayor, I would like to move that we appoint Ana Garza as a member of our Main Street Advisory Board as recommended.
Okay, does anybody second the motion?
I second.
Motion has been second. Discussion, questions? Having no discussion, item is up for a vote. All of those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. I don't know if she's here, but if she is, we would like to welcome her. And if
She
not,
is not, but I'll go ahead and
Send
have
our
her come
greetings,
into
please.
our next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we move to executive session. Do we have a motion to move to executive session at this time?
So moved, Mayor. I move that we move to
Anybody second?
executive session.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll move to
Eddie, are we ready?
Yes, we're ready. So, the time is 3:13, and at this time, I would entertain a motion to reconvene to our regular meeting.
I move that we reconvene in open session.
Okay, does anybody second the motion? Second. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay. Going back to the agenda items that we had left pending, specifically going back to items 5B and C, which was the discussion, consideration, and possible action to terminate the contract with the current financial advisor, and discussion, consideration, and possible action to engage Estrada Hinojosa for financial advisory services. Does anybody have a motion regarding these items?
Mayor, on item 5B, I move that we terminate the current contract, but that we allow them to finish the current project.
I second.
Okay. Any further discussion regarding this matter? I believe the understanding is that Mr. Tijerina and his firm has some pending projects at this time. And based on this motion, he's going to be allowed to complete his services to the city. But any other projects or advisory services that we may need are going to be conducted through a different entity. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yes. Okay.
Mayor, can we make that contingent upon legal review, just because of those issues with that we identified with the
Yes.
contract? Thank you.
Do you want me to restate the motion?
You can just add that.
Upon legal review.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Any further discussion regarding this matter? No. Okay. And I think that the pending motion is just to terminate the advisor, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Mayor, if I may, Mr. Cantus, in reference to that.
So, do I understand correctly, Mr. Tijerina is going to finish this current contract?
Yes.
Okay,
That
he
is
would
correct.
need to call in to do the plan of finance, so.
What's that?
He would need to call in to do the plan, it's going to be letter
6B.
6B?
Yes.
He needs to, I'm going to ask Eddie, see if we can create a Zoom link for him or have him call in so he can present that today.
Thank
you.
Okay. Now moving forward to item 5C, the discussion, consideration, possible action to engage Estrada Hinojosa for financial advisory services.
I move motion, Mayor, to approve item 5C as presented on the agenda for the engaging of Estrada and Hinojosa as our new financial officers from now on.
Okay.
I second.
Motion has been second. It's open for discussion, and I think that the motion currently is to entertain retaining Estrada Hinojosa for any financial services, save and except for the services that are currently being provided by Tijerina, correct?
Exactly.
Okay. Any further discussion, clarification?
Also subject to legal review of their contract. Thank you.
All of those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Estrada Hinojosa are going to be our new advisory.
Thank you all for being here.
Financial advisor.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Your experience will be an asset to our city, so thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Just from personal experience, I want to say that I've reviewed the information that we have from their company and the services that they provide, and I think that they're very well equipped, very competent in terms of the service that they provide. I think that the city can benefit greatly from entertaining their services and obviously their counseling regarding the finances of the city. So for that, I'm very grateful, and thank you so much for being here today. Thank you. Yes, sir.
I agree with you, Mayor.
We have item 6B that was pending as well, and I think that's the one that Mr. Cantu made reference to, the discussion and possible action to approve consideration of a plan of finance for Texas Water Development Board of Financing. Is that the item that we have left pending?
Yes. We also have the other items.
The scoring, Mayor?
Yes, that's that's D and E, I think. Yeah, D and E. But we had gone back to B.
Do you want to take these two up while he gets a hold of Mr. Tijerina? D&E.
Okay, but.
Mayor Council, if we can excuse ourselves.
Yes, yes.
We have some kids to pick up.
Absolutely, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Welcome on board.
So, como quiera, todo quedó bien. Se me que fue las sumas. Estaba medio confusa. Se te pasó un número después.
Oh, it's D&E. D would be grant works and the engineering portion would be real work.
Okay, D&E, okay, well, let's address D&E then. Going back to item 5B, the discussion and possible action for the scoring and authorization to execute an agreement for administration/professional services for the 2025-2026 Texas Community Development Block Grant application with the Texas Department of Agriculture.
Mayor, I would like to recommend that we approve GrantWorks LLC being the high score in the tabulation as our, for item 5E.
D. Do we have a second on that motion?
I second.
Does anybody have any discussion regarding this matter? All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. GrantWorks,
GrantWorks is is represented right now, today with Ms. Nelda Barrera here.
I'm sorry?
GrantWorks is represented today by Ms. Nelda Barrera, present.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Going forward to item 5E, the discussion and possible action for the scoring and authorization to execute an agreement for engineering/surveying services for the 2025-2026 Texas Community Development Block Grant application with the Texas Department of Agriculture.
Mayor, as per our scoring, I recommend that we approve Rio Delta Engineering being the high scores in our tabulation sheet.
Do we have a second on that motion?
I second.
Motion has been second. Any questions, considerations, or discussion regarding this matter? Being no discussion, it's subject for a vote. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye, motion carries. Now we get to item B. Did we already pass that item, or we still need to pass it?
We need to have him present and then pass it. Yes, Mayor.
Okay. And I think that we needed to address this one today, correct, Ms. Bass?
Yes, to continue with the
It's
process.
time sensitive.
Yes, sir.
Do we actually need a presentation from them?
Well, it's the financing plan with the schedule of payments. I don't know if Mr. Gatu received anything from,
I think it's easier if I just get on the speaker right now. They sent him a Zoom link, but he's available to call him right now for the meeting.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Robert, good afternoon. This is Leo. Hey, I got you on speaker right now. The commission is listening to you. They're ready to listen to your plan of finance for the loan.
Excellent. Thank you, Leo. Mayor, commissioners, and staff, for the record, Robert Tijerina with Tijerina Financial Consulting. And from what I understand, we are the FA for the city on this particular financing with the Texas Water Development Board. And I'm going over the plan of finance, and in a nutshell, the goal of the city was to move forward with this financing is breaking. Hold on. Okay, I was losing reception there. And the goal of the city was to issue this debt with no tax rate increase. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Do you mind bringing the phone here, and then we'll put it on this mic? We're listening?
Yes, sir. Mary, you there?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, excellent. So the total project that we applied for the city was for $11,310,000. This was an EDAP funding through the Texas Water Development Board, and the city was fortunate to receive a combination of a loan with a grant. So that 11,310,000 financing with the Water Development Board was split in half. 5,655,000 will be issued to the city as a loan, a subsidized loan. Anytime you go to the Texas Water Development Board, their interest rates are subsidized. They're below current market interest rates. So right now we're looking at something in the 3% area. We all know what happened today. The Federal Reserve System cut interest rates 50 basis points. So this will impact the interest rate that the city will receive final sometime in early December, late November. And the reason they finalized that, that far into the future, they want to close and lock in the interest rate at least 2 weeks to 20 days before closing. So we still have time between now and locking in the interest rates, which is the request and the desire of the Texas Water Development Board. But there is pressure now for the interest rates to go down, and we're hoping it'll be even in the lower 3% area. And I believe right now we're looking at an estimated rate of about 3.75%. And again, that's preliminary. It won't be fixed until late November, early December, a few weeks before the scheduled closing of December the 12th. Now that's a $5,655,000 loan. The remaining $5,655,000 will be a grant from the Economically Distressed Area Program, the EDAP program of the Water Development Board. This process started over 2 years ago. It was an application process, working with staff, Leo, Ms. Baez, the utility director, the engineer, bond counsel, all worked together on conference calls, working on performas, numerous calls with the Water Development Board, with the engineer, and with city staff to finally get to this point where we're at. And again, the city received this commitment on or about August the 15th. So the goal of the city from the very beginning on this project was we will not impact the interest and sinking fund tax rate. And I believe in talking with Leo last week, the city is looking at, and probably should have approved earlier today, an interest and sinking fund tax rate of roughly 14.81 cents per next fiscal year. Yes. That tax rate will not be funding or paying for any of this proposed Water Development Board loan of $5,655,000. So how is the loan going to be paid back? It will not be supported with the INS tax rate. What it will be supported by are revenues from the city's utility system. So water and sewer rate revenues that come in will be funding all of this $5,655,000 loan. There will be no impact, no increase to the city's interest and sinking fund tax rate next fiscal year, which starts October the 1st. The city's current property values rose about almost 9.5%. Now from $758 million to $829.7 million. This growth has a lot to do with commercial, residential, and so forth within the community, values going up. I know over the almost 20 years that I've been representing the city of Rio Grande City, I have seen the city struggle with their audits back in 2005, 2007 through 10. The city is now squared away and taking care of those issues. They have put themselves in a financial strong position in the eyes of the Texas Water Development Board and the bond rating agencies. So I congratulate the city on receiving this $5.6 million loan at a subsidized interest rate, and also receiving a $5.6 million grant from the Texas Water Development Board. They do not give out grants just to anyone and everyone who applies. So we have to hit and meet a certain criteria in order for you to receive that type of funding. So again, in a nutshell, this will not impact the IMS tax rate, this loan. It will be paid back from revenues from the utility system. And I believe Mr. Dan Martinez presented the notice of intent earlier on the agenda. The publications will occur on Thursday, September the 26th, and Thursday, October the 3rd. And I believe here sometime in November, the Water Board will set the interest rate, and the city at a special council meeting, more or less on November the 12th, will approve the financing as final. And the closing, the first outlay closing, will be on Thursday, December the 12th. That day was approved because they gave us pretty much a deadline, and we selected that day, December the 12th, and they've already approved that that closing will be designated for the city of Rio Grande City to close this $5.6 million financing certificates obligation through the Texas Water Development Board.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Garcia?
Do we need a motion to approve that now?
Yes, sir.
Is it 6B, Mayor?
That's right.
Yes,
Mayor, if it's okay with you, I would like to move that we approve item 6B as presented by Mr. Tejeda.
A second?
Okay. And is this something that, Hinojosa and Estrada could have taken care of? This is something of the, still part of the project that they're working on?
It's part of the project they're working on.
Okay. Any further questions, considerations? Nope. Okay. All of those in favor to approve this item, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried unanimously. And I think that's going to conclude
9A. 9A.
the agenda, with the exception of item, I believe, 9A, which I'm going to allow Mr. Commissioner, Commissioner Olivares to address this matter, and I'm going to excuse myself.
Okay.
It's,
Mayor Pro Tem, you want me to-
It's Roger. It's, Mr. Mr.
Okay,
Benz.
go ahead.
Is it 8A?
Yeah.
Okay.
9A.
9A? Okay, on item 9A, I move to appointing Gilbert Milan as city manager, subject to legal review of contract.
I second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that Gilbert Milan be appointed as city manager pending the review of contract. All those, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, Mr. Milan.
Thank you. Thank you for your trust.
Is there any other action that we need to take?
No, the mayor can come back.
Okay.
Having addressed the last item on the meeting, that's going to conclude our meeting today, September 18th of 2024. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Second?
I will second.
All of those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. We stand adjourned at
3:32.
3:32. Thank you so much for everybody for coming over.